5.7 magnitude earthquake shook parts of southwestern Pakistan earlier this morning. It killed at least 20 people.
200 other people have been hurt, and officials expect the death toll to rise. The quake was located near the Afghan border. New this morning, 2 people are hurt after running into a black bear with their car. The Minnesota State Patrol says the crash happened last night around 10 on Highway 59 in Mahnomen.
The SUV driver and her passenger were hurt when their car hit the bear that was standing on the highway. Their injuries are not considered serious. There is no indication on the crash report about what happened to that bear. A federal judge has now blocked a near total ban on abortion in the state of Texas. The temporary injunction will block the state from enforcing the law, which was passed by the GOP-controlled legislature and upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court in September.
Lawyers for the Justice Department asked a judge to block the state's restrictive abortion law last week, arguing it's in open defiance of the Constitution.
It is now 6:50 on this Thursday morning, currently 59 degrees. Nice right now. Won't be the case in the next 48 hours, Lisa.
That's right. We have changes coming, and it will start with a chance for some stronger storms on Friday. In fact, you could see an isolated severe storm or two, and that's why we have a first alert weather day declared for Friday. Not for today. Today would be more of a quieter day coming up here so far. We're looking at some quiet weather on the radar. As we take a look out west, you can see some showers over in western North Dakota. That's kind of that first hint at what's to come coming up here in the forecast. So for Friday, for that first alert weather day, we do have a risk for severe. It's in this deeper green color, and you can see that that basically covers almost all of us in the valley. We all have a chance for an isolated shower or thunder shower, but some of us may see some severe. Tomorrow evening, especially into the late night hours, would be the most likely timing of this. And what I'm looking at is the potential for hail being the greatest threat with this. So this is something to watch for if you've got some Friday evening plans, thinking about heading out to a football game. This is something you're going to want to be prepared for, and we'll of course be keeping you updated on that as that progresses. Until then, we saw warm weather on the way. In fact, today as you're stepping out the door, still very mild. Fargo's at 59, it's 58 in Grand Forks and in Thief River Falls. We've got some clouds in a couple of spots, but overall we'll start with some sunshine once it's up today. Bemidji's at 56, and Fergus Falls and Devil's Lake both at 59. So checking out your forecast for today. Expect temperatures to be on the rise. We're going to see some numbers climbing back into the upper 70s, and maybe 1 or 2 places get to 80. But what's going to happen here is we're going to see more clouds building in basically around lunchtime and beyond, and that's going to kind of block that sun from warming us up as much as it has in recent days, but still upper 70s. That's very warm for this time of year. We're looking at wind out of the south and gusts getting going into the 20s to about 30 miles per hour again today. So still fairly quiet. Rain chances increase though as we head into the rest of the week and the weekend. So Friday, isolated shots of rain, and then it really ramps up Friday night and into Saturday. We're looking at widespread likely rain through the day, even into Sunday before that starts to taper off, and another round into next week. And check out these temperatures, much cooler starting on Saturday.
Yeah, big changes here on that 7-day. It's going to feel cold once we get into those 60s.
I think so. After 80s, that's going to be a little bit of a shock.
Thank you, Lisa. COVID mitigation strategies in Fergus Falls elementary schools are falling short, and they're heading back to mask mandates. The district superintendent says 54 students or staff members have tested positive so far, just 3 weeks into the school year. He
says it's putting them on pace to have 437 cases this year. Last year, the district had 180 total. One Fergus Falls father, Trevor Wall, says he wishes the mandate would have come sooner. 3 of his 4 children tested positive just this week.
I mean, everyone has their own right to feel how they want, but once it starts getting close to home, you start to realize, that things had worked in the past, and there was no reason to really change them.
The mask mandate goes into effect on Monday to give parents time to adjust.
Minnesota state agencies are ramping up discipline for employees who either won't get the vaccine or submit to weekly testing. The policy took hold a month ago to help slow the spread of COVID-19. State officials say more than 500 employees have declined both options.
Employees who decline to be vaccinated or tested can be sent home, put on unpaid leave, or otherwise disciplined up to termination.
SANFORD Health is now offering the 3rd along with booster shots of COVID-19 vaccines, but there is a difference. So which one should you get?
The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod joins us live this morning with kind of a breakdown of what people need to know. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning, Jordan, Lisa. You know, both the third and booster shots both offer that level of protection, but they offer a level of protection against COVID-19, but they're for different groups of people. Now, the third shot is for those that are immunocompromised, including having cancer, untreated HIV, or even a transplant. This group doesn't always build the appropriate levels of protection after receiving the 2 doses. It must be administered at least 28 days after the completion of the vaccine series with Pfizer and Moderna. Now, the booster shot is administered at least 6 months after completing the Pfizer series. This is for those that are 65 and older, and those 18 and older that live in long-term care settings, have an underlying medical condition, and work in high-risk settings like healthcare workers, teachers, and frontline workers. There is not a cure against COVID-19, but the vaccine offers the best level of protection to fight it.
As we continue to assist with patients and, other maybe in teachers in the schools, they may have more interactions with people that have, could be possibly bringing the COVID virus in. So we would want to make sure that everyone that needs that booster dose has the ability to receive it.
Now, all these details I just mentioned can be found at valleynewslive.com.
Okay. Brian Sherrod reporting live in studio this morning. Thank you. You can get your COVID-19 booster and flu shot at Sanford South Point Clinic in Fargo this weekend. The clinic runs from 9 to noon.
Patients can make an appointment by going to their My Sanford Chart account or call the number that's up on your screen right now. You must wear a face mask.
Minnesota is expanding hours at COVID testing sites across the state in response to increased demand and the threat of the Delta variant. Testing last week in Minnesota was up about 10% from the prior week. Starting October 17th, Moorhead's testing location at the old Thomas Edison Elementary School on 12th Avenue South will now be open from 11 to 4 on Sundays.
New hours are in addition to the weekly schedule of Monday through Thursday, 11 to 6. Testing is free, and for a full list of testing sites in Minnesota, click on this story at valleynewslive.com.
The suspect in a reported domestic disturbance Tuesday night is now claiming Fargo police have it all wrong. Carrie Knutson called our news team saying he's the man police allege fired a gun inside a North Fargo home in the 700 block of 14th Avenue.
Police say both a woman and a child were inside at the time, but Knutson says that's not true. He says he never fired a gun and he wasn't even in Fargo at the time police say it happened. Knutson claims that his ex-wife made the false report as a way to get back at him. Police say they can't comment on these claims because the investigation is still active. 2 people are now without a place to live after a fire underneath a North Fargo mobile home. Crews are investigating the cause of the fire on Monte Carlo Drive North. It happened yesterday afternoon.
Both people were able to get out of the home safely with 3 of their dogs. Firefighters rescued the 4th dog. Fire is forcing evacuations of cabins on the north side of VITASCA State Park in drought-stricken northern Minnesota. The DNR says the fire is in a remote area near Bull Hall Lake. They've deployed 10 fire trucks, 2 helicopters, and an air tanker. As of last night, it had burned about 9 acres and was only 5% contained. So far, no buildings have been destroyed. No word on what sparked that fire. Itasca State Park is about 20 miles north of Park Rapids, and it's a popular tourist spot. It's known for the headwaters of the Mississippi River. The Minnesota Supreme Court is rejecting convicted murderer Derek Chauvin's request for a public defender as he appeals his conviction and sentence in that George Floyd case. The court says the former Minneapolis police officer has not shown that he can pay for a private attorney, but that does not establish that he's entitled to an appointed representative. He can apply again if his financial situation changes. Documents show Chauvin is more than $140,000 in debt. There is some lawn maintenance ahead for some folks in Holden, Massachusetts, after a herd of about 80 cows wandered through a neighborhood after getting loose from a nearby ranch. Get a look at this video. The cattle were in people's yards and gardens, eating grass and dropping, what cows can leave behind sometimes. One of them even ended up in a backyard pool, wanted to take a dip. It actually happened, though, after the cow tore through a pool cover. Yeah, the cows had moseyed into the neighborhood from a field about a mile away. The owners are now putting in new locks on their gates and installing security cameras because they believe someone let the cows out on purpose. And if that wasn't strange, we have one maybe even better here. It was another day in a Chicago suburb, normal day until zebras started running around. A young male and female zebra escaped from a pen inside a pumpkin farm, and the chase started through farm fields and even across highways. Of course, that had a lot of people doing double takes.
Yeah, after about 2 hours, people with the pumpkin patch and the zoo tracked down the animals on ATVs and they captured them. Luckily, the zebras weren't hurt. No one else was hurt during that pursuit as well.
Okay, let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Today's question: 1 in 6 people say it's not unusual for them to cry here.
It's not unusual to apparently cry in the grocery store. That's the answer today. Thanks for playing along.
He's been singing it all morning.
I
It's
really
gonna be
have
stuck in your
been.
head all day. Sorry about that. No, it's a good song. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on. Join us right now on the Fargo CW.